mother's excited. Mom's like, hey, baby, look. He's like, it's not my time. Because he's not here to marry anybody on this earth. He's here to bring people to the understanding that the marriage that is going to happen with the bride, which would be the people, to the bridegroom, which would be him, would be like the joining of the body of Christ.
Y'all gonna make that man or something. Y'all.
I'm just speaking on the Bible, so
Y'all, it does not say that, sir. That is.
this is the body, the body of Christ.
The depiction that Jesus is the Christ is
Right. But listen, you asked me like, what did I derive from Jesus?
Right.
So like to me that, just like from reading the New Testament, like what
you got that he came to join the body of the world, the God from it's not my time. You have that. You've been doing some study and some research, sir.
No.
And I tell you something.
You describe.
I think we should go down and deal with it.
You can burn some stuff?
No, I was quoting the disciples. They were in the ship and they said, the storm is too much for me. Let's go to the storm and see what's wrong with him who was supposed to be protecting me. I'm going to the stern to get to the bottom of this. Sit in the storm.
You woke him up and said, you ain't got no peace? You need to be still.
You gotta wake them up and be like, I know it's uncomfortable, but we're gonna talk about this right now.
You think they struggled to figure out who was going to be the one to wake them up?
I think that they were eager to go down there and be like, because this is not what I signed up for. This ain't it. What I'm looking at, that's how I think when you come to a personal place with God, and I know for each person it's going to be different, but that's how I deal with him. The night shit fell apart, right? The night, like, it just, I had seen it coming, but I wasn't prepared for it. I was like, I went out to the garage. Then I started cleaning out the keel. I said, God, you're lying. You are. You said, if I sowed it, I would reap it. And in my honesty, son, I ain't done that much bad. In this place, I've given myself, and what I look at is not what I've sown. You're a liar. And I think the disciples do the same thing. The storm that's about to take you out, they're like, this is not what I've sown. I know I've done some shit, but this is not what I've sown. I know I'm not so much of a devout believer of God. This ain't it. He didn't say that you grow like pine trees if you planted lion seeds. Right? So why would I plant pine seeds expecting to get eaten by like tigers and like lions and bears? It's not what I've planted. Right. This is something different. It's evident this is different. I didn't do this. And then he gets up and he's like, peace, be still. Right? He's like, you of little faith. But I think that's like good connotation because it did not take much for them to wake him up. They're not tripped by the text. They're not like stuck on his title. They go right to him. Do you care is the question that they ask. God, I'm looking at it and it don't look like you care about it. I'm looking at it and I feel like it's going to kill me. It's going to take me out. I'm trying to do my best to like just maintain, just be sane. And God, I feel like I'm losing my mind. Do you care? He wakes up. You're God. No, you got whatever, you're God. No, you just can't be your God. And in my situation, in no other text, in this one, this is when you decide to go to sleep. It says boldly come before him. Right? Boldly. That's not timid. Right? That's God, I call you out on your word for it. Unless you sign that check, it's void. He said his word won't return void. Remind him, that's what the man on the cross said, remember all them places where I gave and I could have kept it. Remember all them places where I shut my mouth because your spirit told me and I could have cussed them out. Remember.
How often do we, in the sowing process, God is showing us how to sow properly. And we get so eager as children, as his people. So we're like, all right, I got it, I'm trying. So he's like, all right, cool. So he watches you sow one or two, and then he's like, okay, cool, I'm gonna go over here. You got this, right? I got this. Because he's calling us to sow something that we're gonna wear, that we have to be comfortable laying in, walking around in, providing in, and doing all of these things. So when we are sowing and we make a mistake, now I'm trying to put on this shirt that I've sewn together, but it has no arm. I have one arm, but I can't put my arm through. I don't remember what he said to do, what he said to do if I make a mistake like this, because I'm damn near finished with this shirt. So now we're gonna try and wake him up. Hey. What am I supposed to do? It's like, oh, you little faith. And that to me is like, oh, you don't remember. I thought you said you were fine. That to me is like what that means. It's like, well, yeah, I know sowing is, is the planting the heart, that. But then like a whole nother connotation of like sowing is like sowing our white robe together, our clarity together, sewing our salvation back together. He gives us all the tools that we need. I realize that there's no amount of works that we can do in order for salvation. Just you believe. But in that belief, sowing, do we forget that I know how to sow? I believe already I know how to sow. I made a mistake. Cut this part and then finish sowing. Or just be happy with what I've made. Instead of constantly going to God and I need for you to fix this. It's like, but it's fine the way it is. Who says that you have to have two arm sleeves? Who says that won't be the fashion? Who says that whatever? I believe we get caught up in the perfection of what we feel that we need to be in front of God. The end result has to be perfect. So when I present myself to God, He's pleased. But He's already pleased that we're out there already we're going ahead and doing something. So He can either lay down or go to somebody else.
I think if you're perfect, then you're not worth it. So He requires you to be flawed in your mind, so He can die for you in His man, just so you can see that you were worth it. Because He doesn't deal with perfect people. He said the physician doesn't come for the well,
but He also says before,
come for the sick.
Right. He also says before then, you were wonderfully and perfectly made.
He said wonderfully. wonderfully, what was it? Fearfully and wonderfully made. That's with the fear of it. It says, I require you though to be perfect, as your Father in heaven is perfect. But you're made that way.
I thought I said wonderfully and perfectly made.
Fearfully and wonderfully. As you ponder on that.
No, I'm pondering because, like, well, that throws, not necessarily it throws that argument out the window, but like, that was it's gonna be my home run. Like a lawyer.
As bad as you wage those wars.
No. We don't war. We just accidentally pricked our finger on as we were sewing.
Thank you. About to get beat in the head. Fearfully. You're fearful in what you are. You don't know your value or you. You don't know how much God invested inside of you. So you doubt you before the world can. Or you tell you that I need somebody else, I need like this or that. And he's like, you have little faith. You're fearfully made. Look at you, you're perfect and you're wonderful. Just by the skin color, just by the complexion, just by your mind, just by like the fact that you're born a man, a woman, that you're here, you're perfect just as you are. Why couldn't you speak to it? It is not even that you have to have an amount of faith, because it will respond. You just have to say something. If I wanted you to do it, that's why I went to sleep in it, for you to speak to it. What catches him off guard? Nothing does.
Right.
So he knows I'll be perfectly fine in the ship, in the stern. You know, when I had to deal with this, but like you could have dealt with it and I came down here. You making troops, dealing with stuff, you bombing people out, you like, oh, this all could have been avoided had you dealt with it up there. Want to come down here and fight about it. Come down here and disgruntled, like waking up people who had no sleep in years. You could have dealt with that yourself. That's another tangent though. Don't you get sick of people dealing with nothing, asking you to come fight for everything? I'm like, I need to know, couldn't you have done it while you were back there? Couldn't you have parked it while you were out there? Couldn't you have cleaned it while you were in there? Sometimes you come in here and I'm asleep. You're like, I can't get no peace still. I felt like Jesus on yesterday. Still can't get no peace. Wind is bothering me, still. Rain is on me, still. Disciples are around me. Folk acting like they're more non-believers than what they are believers.
I can't get people to stop accusing me falsely. Still.
And at some point in time, you have to come and wake you up. Yeah, you gotta commission the Paul the cusser in you to stop letting folk play the hell out of you. You gotta get into the Judas you and be like, I'll be damned if I kill me for folk who act like they don't even support me, don't know me, they don't love me. I need to connect to like the Simon Peter, that I don't know anything other than my own name. It's the hell with them and their clueless whatever.
Or the Simon Peter with the sword.
You gotta connect. I cut a nigga here off, and I won't feel no kind of way about it.
And then actually, did you hear me?
I will let God deal with you because I know you couldn't hear me because I cut it off. I cut it.
That said, you has ears to hear, I got yours.
That's why you didn't receive the call, because I cut it off. You gotta call all of them. He said, when I come to a place where I'm unsure, I meet up with the rest of me's in my head at the table and be like, which one of us did I offend today? Not the me as the enemy, the me as the friend that's next to me to being like trying to play you. Be like, which one of my emotional, dysfunctional personalities did you offend? And that's what I deal with. I'm like, I go through wars in my head, but he goes through that and wakes up. And what does he wake up to? Peace. At peace. Still. You gotta command it, even though it's taking control. I'm gonna be at peace still. It don't matter what come, who leave, who cuss. They want to get paid for what they're trying to do. It don't matter who next to you. Who don't like you. They don't like you because what you drove up in. They don't like you because what you wore here. They don't like you for your shoes. They don't like you for your parents. They don't like you because of blues clues. Well, they better get one and draw it, because let me make it obviously clear. It's a paw print here.
You can't get magenta thinking that you're going to get blue.
He said, who? I said, Roof. Not Clifford the Red Dog. Blues Clues. This is where you lose. If you thought I was going to be my own enemy, peace be still.
What if there was somebody driving the boat, messing with them? So when Jesus woke up, he had a peace and he made him still.
That's what it said. It said the temptress arose.
Yeah.
It didn't say it was in the sea. It said while this boat is at sea, right? And how is it at sea? It's not on the, it's at it that you face it. You'll connect that, I'm sure, in some kind of way, because you can't be at something that you're on, but you're in, but God brought you out. But I know that the man who's in the cave, he's commissioning him. I know the verse don't say it, but Jesus shows up. He's heartbroken, but he shows up. He didn't want to come. He has the weight of 5,000 people being like, preach to me, feed me, pay my lights for me, come clothe my kids for me. And he pulls away from all of that to come show up. Now, I know that the man in the cave is significant, not the one who shows up and starts talking, the one behind him, the legion that we don't see. The one that Matthew talks about was the one of the two that we never mention in the rest of the Gospels. He said, I've been calling you because nobody noticed me. And BB gonna come get her, solidify herself on this chair last night and say, do you see me? And I thought about that. And I was like, well, that's the problem. Because there's so many problems around me, I can't even see me. Not God. God sees me, I don't see me. We miss it for one, counting it as legion. But if somebody caught two, maybe they missed the 2,000 or the 200 in front of me. In the background praying my way out. But it's broken chains that hold me in my imaginary mind and tell me I can't go free. That's why I'm bound here.
I believe Matthew's talking about John and Mark, Luke and Mark.
He could be. He could be referring to himself. It was me that was locked up there.
Maybe. Like, Luke speaks about one. Mark speaks about one. Matthew's the only one who speaks about two. So like Luke is he's coming from like what I went through. Mark, the same thing. Matthew's like, bruh, both of y'all was over there crazy. How'd y'all both end up in the cave together? And like John don't even talk about it. Because like maybe he wasn't there. Still on the boat maybe.
You know what I'm talking about, John was Luke was the physician. John was a theologian. John is educated, so he's like some fights I don't even get in. I was on the boat, I wasn't getting off of it to talk to nobody who was demanding. There was 30 of them, and they only saw.
Jesus, do you need me for this one?
Why can, out of all these saints, all these elders, all these pastors, preachers, all these ministers, why can't nobody see me? You so damn deep. You don't see me? You want to come and feed people. You don't see me?
They used to till they tried to fix or heal or correct. And when they realized that they can't, they just walk by now. Because they know if they even give a glimpse, then somebody will say, well, you fix such and such. Why can't you go ahead and fix? I have a buddy over here. So they just walk on by. Hey, do you even see such and such? Who? Who you talking about? Because they know that they cannot.
What you deal with was hard for them to just be real and be like, God, I was a fake prophet, so I couldn't heal it, so I put it in your hands, but that's what you require. How many years that nigga in the cave?
Think about this. How many people are in self-denial of things that they suffer through? See somebody else going through it, and the thing I was over that. So like that's probably why they couldn't see you, because they all doing the same thing. It's probably the same people who told Jesus to get out the town. You just gonna get rid of our pigs?
You know, Bruni had said that sometimes I see you but don't notice you.
Mm.
Sometimes I can be right beside you and still not feel you. You can be like touching a person and still not get them. I think they see him, but he's not mentioned because in this instance, I just came through a storm. I literally just came through a storm. I know what you got going on is big and rough and tough and significant, but like these past 2 weeks I've been going through it. You didn't see it, but there was a storm that you arrived just coming out of yourself.
Right.
It's not that you don't see me, it's just I've been dealing with my own story. And not to bring light or shade to yours or say it's insignificant, but I've been having some shit in my own cave that was hard for me. So do we meet in the text, match it? Is it significant? Am I legion, or if I'm just one of my many stories that this is what happened to me?
Right.
But you're like, John, I ain't even got time, so I'm dealing with that almost killed me.
Or like,
Right.
Almost killed me.
That's what I just said.
So like, running into people, going through the storm, I can't fool with you. I don't even see you. But on the other side of it, we run back into each other and we're like, hey, you just came down from that road? Oh man, I used to such and such. It's like you ran into these people that like God has placed. What is it? To me, this goes like deeper than just like a relationship. It's like right person, wrong time.
Mm-hmm.
It's like very well could have been with, you know, the bestest of friend or the one to help through whatever. But if I'm so caught up in the fact that I'm in this hellfire, this crazy storm, like I feel I have no idea how to get out of, like I'll miss him. I walk right past him, scream right past him. I'm the old me at Bar Louie when somebody tells me I have a bug on my back, and I'm panicking, freaking out, and somebody's like, well, Trevor, stay still. I was gonna hit him. But because other people laughed at me, and when I happened to glance back, I freaked out. So I took off instead of just waiting a minute, taking my time and allowing that person to come.
I get what you're saying, but I can't wait.
Right.
Sure.
Right.
Is what you say to you every time that somebody else tries to tell. tries to save you, shut up. Every time they want to speak for you, shut the hell up. Every time they want to come in and save, Captain Save hold you, shut up. You require nobody else to save you but you. I think that becomes the point of it, right? Like you've been through the ship and the ship. And I've been through the storm and the cave. I'm locked by my own chains, and you're like struggling with trying to weather the storm and steer the stern and sail the thing. And here's the thing: when we meet in the middle, there's God there. When we meet in the middle, there's no like, well, let's weigh it out because I know you dealt with the water, but them rocks from them caves. It's like that there's no value of like weight. It's just, I'm just happy to come to my why. That's where Legion and the other one meets Matthew. I know ain't nobody think it was significant, but I noticed you. Mm. I know people walk over you. They'll write you out before they write you in. They'll like talk bad about you and say that you cannot before they say that maybe he will. But Matthew is like, I know this. And I can't really give detail to it, give your name and your story because it's not significant, but I want people to know you exist. I noticed you.
That's the important person who, so everybody else has been running away when that person says, please don't mind the shit on my hands. You have no idea what I've been through.
That you can keep.
Everybody else is like, coronavirus.
Right.
Until you get that one person who's like, I don't even drink Corona.
I don't shake hands either. Dos Equis.
This?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Tequila.
So they're like, I'll shake your hand because there's water right over there and I have sanitizer.
And I'm drunk.
Right.
Yeah. So it doesn't even matter.
Shit.
Because it purifies the inside and the outside. It don't bother me. So you'll be able to lay hands on the sick and shit, and it'll recover or clear up it. That's what it said. It said that. Read it. It said that. It don't say that. It says that. It didn't, but it did.
It does say that.
And this was that.
I thought it said thou.
Those.
Thus.
They.
Damascus.
And that's word for them.
And I want to smoke one of this.
I don't want that.
It really?
I'm just.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't nobody struggle with this and that but you.